Guys, you are in for a treat. I have special guest star Keaton Talk Sports joining us. I'm going to hit the intro. We'll be back in about 50 seconds. Yes! Man, it's Friday night. We got 4 great playoff games coming up. Keaton is joining me. He's wearing I love these old school Pets jersey. Is it I can't tell if it's 12.
Yeah.
Is it 15? Is it 12? It's 12. Those are the sweetest.
It's 10. It's the Mac Jones jersey. Yeah.
You got the Mac Jones. All right.
Yeah.
Old school Patriots are I love those jerseys, man, and I love the old school banner in the background, and man, I'm really excited. So, right off the bat, I just since you're my resident Patriots fan, a minor incident. Maybe the greatest coach who ever lived is gone. Jared Mayo takes over. Man, go through your emotions. Give us an idea of what it feels like for a Patriots fan right now. And we're having some technical difficulties here. Keaton's having some issues here. Bear with me. There you go. I can hear you just fine, man. You were frozen for a minute.
Your screen's like frozen kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on here. I'm going to remove you. I'm going to add you back on here. There's some sort of lag here. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Yeah.
But if you didn't,
should I go back in?
Log out, log back in. See if that works on Streamyard. I think we're having.
I'll do that.
Streamyard here. As we have technical difficulties
I'll
here.
Go back.
So hey Perry, man, I'm doing great. And Keaton, he's doing great. He's got the kick-ass old school jersey on. I had the Ravens, Niners in the Super Bowl since literally week 4, so those two win. My squad and Bills finally slay their white whale. Listen, we got some. We're going to talk about this back and forth here. I'm kind of interested to see what a Patriots fan thinks because I saw Xavier Howard on Twitter, and he just went out and said he's hoping that somebody beats the Chiefs, and it's like you'd rather have the Chiefs lose than your division rival. That seems kind of weird, man. That seems kind of weird. Perry, I am fantastic. Joseph came in strong earlier. He says he believes San Francisco is the best team all season. All you need is love if you're Green Bay, but I think San Fran has too much for the pack and wins by 10. The line's 9.5, so that makes sense. Ravens, I think, are Super Bowl bound, but Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs. CJ and the Texans are rolling by Ravens. Fly high was a 7-point win over the Texans. That makes sense. Ravens by 7. I got something similar. Lions roar over the Bucks by 6. Golf with a big game as the O-line is strong. Yet these two played earlier this year, and this was without Jamar Gibbs, and I believe there's one other star player. So I have a hard time arguing with this. Buffalo gets a playoff win over the Chiefs and the Mahomes Magic in Orchard Park as Allen uses his leg and his arm to win by field goal in OT at Orchard Park. I love what the NFL did in saving the best for last. So he confirmed it's on Orchard Parks. Yay. Yeah. I got like I like the comments. I like the comments here. So while Keaton Talk Sports is handling everything, I am going to go over something. I was waiting until he came back on, but I just want to bring over Keaton Talk Sports has his YouTube channel. And by the way, his channel, he did a really good job this year. He went 3-3 last week. His grand total for the season's 171 and 105. Now, my wild card picks, I was 4-2. Now, yeah, what's up, man? You are back. You're back. You know what? We'll save this later. I can hear you just fine, man. I can hear you just fine. You're currently frozen, though.
I don't know why the internet's being, or not the internet, but I don't know if something's going on or something.
Well, you're great now. You're perfect right now. So now you're frozen again. So
it's like
I did do a good job. Jay Cruzen. So it's an intermittent issue. But you're every now and then you're doing pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
It's like going in and out. I don't know what's. Yeah, I think it's.
Well, you're.
I can hear you. I can see you moving now.
Yeah, you're perfect right now. We just had like a weird issue.
It's just your voice is just going in and out a little bit, but.
Yeah, let me do this here.
That's weird. I don't know what's going on with this.
Well, right now you're perfect. It's just an in and out issue. Let me do this here. All right, bear with us here, and I apologize, folks. I'm not really sure what the issue is or is
it's all
not.
good.
But all right, let's see if we can do this. Worst case scenario, I'll have to kill the stream and come back. Bill Belichick leaving New England. I mean, you're a Patriots fan. Explain the feelings, the emotions, everything that's involved. Let me know. What's your opinion here?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, going through 24 years of him being here as the Patriots head coach, like I said, very appreciative of to his organization. You know, we have some people out there that, think Tom Brady gets all the credit for all the Super Bowl. Without Belichick, Tom wouldn't be the coach. So I think without those two guys together, those Super Bowls wouldn't have happened. So, like I said, I'm just very thankful for the dynasty that I've been able to witness throughout the years. Not a lot of people can experience that, and I'm just lucky to be to witness half of those. So, but I'm excited for Gerard Mayo to be here. I'm excited for a new era, new energy. You saw him in this press conference. I know he had an Instagram where he went live on Instagram about him being here. So, new energy. So I'm excited for the new the build here in New England.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting because you say new build. The one thing I didn't see, and it's very ironic because you're also an Ohio State fan, so you get a big win. Bill O'Brien leaves the Patriots, goes to your Buckeyes. I think instantly makes them one of the. With the playoffs switching to 12, Ohio State pencil in there, but I can honestly say that. Right now, I don't think there's two better. I don't know how much you heard me rant or not rant. I think Georgia got completely screwed. I I think going into this season, though, I think the two best schools have got to be now Ohio State and Georgia. As a Buckeyes fan, does Bill O'Brien mean that much, or is it just, you know, you're kind of hemming and hawing, just want to wait till Michigan? What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I just heard about it earlier that he left us and went to Ohio State. I mean, I think it's a good hire. I mean, I know other Ohio State fans aren't really as happy about the pickup, but I mean, for me, you know, we've lost to Michigan for the last 3 years, so hopefully, him being here can give us some more of a spark offensively. I know Ohio State sometimes have had question marks with the play calling offensively, so hopefully it brings us the spark that we need to try to get over the hump of losing Michigan the last 3 years. So hopefully it brings us some success going forward.
Well, you know, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a dominant in the SEC, the running back for Ole Miss. He took off and he hit the portal and he ended up landing in Ohio State. And this guy's good. This guy's really good. You get him and you get Trayvon Henderson, a guy I thought was going pro. I have to double check, but I think he's staying at Ohio State as well. So you have probably the best backfield combo in the country. But let's go. Let's dive in here with your picks here. Funk says the O-line needs to be strong. Goff went 22 while protected, then 9 pressures. He had 3 sacks, 5 incomplete, 2 bad fumbled things for 0 protect. All right, so I guess that's pretty obvious here. But let's start off with let me ask you this here. I'm a Chiefs fan. You're a Patriots fan. You're in the AFC East. Bills, Chiefs. As a fan, just a pure fan, forget picks, forget all that. As a pure fan, which team are you cheering for?
Man, this is actually when I was doing my video or make my prediction video earlier or a couple of days ago. This is probably one of the toughest games I had to predict, to be honest. Because if you look at this game's normally been in Kansas City for the past like 2-3 years. Now this game's playing in Buffalo. Obviously, the Chiefs have had the Bills' number, especially in the playoffs. I think Mahomes like 2-0 or whatever. I believe that's his record against Buffalo in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. Like I said, Mahomes, this is his first road playoff game in his career, which is mind-boggling. I did not realize this is his first road playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't really like the Chiefs either, but
okay, we're starting some technical difficulties here. My apologies, everybody. It's just an intermittent connection. I'm kind of at a loss if there's any settings or anything I can change out. Kind of going through.
You say you can hear me perfectly, right?
No, I can. It's an intermittent issue. I think it's some sort of bad. Yeah, you cut in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched your video, by the way. I'm gonna go over here, by the way. Keaton Talk Sports. It's a great YouTube channel. Please check it out. For his wild card round, he went 3-3 last week. Now, I'm not saying anything negative here. I'm just saying I went 4-2. And you went 3-3.
Yeah, I saw that too.
No, nobody's saying that one's better.
That Cowboys game really screwed me up. That's for sure.
Nobody's saying that one's better or the other. Nobody's saying that one's better than Keaton. Nobody is saying that at all. Nobody is saying that at all. Just to let you know that. So,
That's funny. That's great. But yeah, that Cowboys game, yeah, that messed up some things. That's the playoffs for you.
I had the Cowboys as my NFC Super Bowl team. So, I was 5-5 and didn't have a pick in the Green Bay Dallas game. Yeah, Dallas was my Super Bowl team. I was floored by that, and it was funny because I remember they kicked off and the Packers wanted to receive, and I'm like, this is going to bite them in the ass, and they went right down the field and scored, and I was like, they know something I don't, and you know what? Let's just. I was going to go in order, but I want to jump out of order because I'm so excited about this because somebody actually had some balls and picked the Packers. Keaton, can you tell me who that is?
Oh, that was me. So I picked the Packers. So I mean, the reason why I picked the Packers, I mean, if you watched the game last week, obviously against the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, like, I was not expecting them to put 40 points against, I mean, that Dallas team. I mean, if you look at the Dallas offense, they've been number one at home all season in terms of scoring points. I mean, they were averaging like 39 points or something crazy like that.
It was insane
at home.
Absolutely.
And for Green Bay to go in there and just dominate on both sides of the ball against that team was something impressive. I mean, like I said, the only reason I'm going with them to beat the 49ers is because, like, if you look at the spread, obviously the 49ers are favored by 10 points. And most people are going with the 49ers, which is I completely understand why you're going with the 49ers. I mean, they're a juggernaut team. I mean, this is a team that's expected to get to the Super Bowl, and they have every right to have that on their name. And they have the defense, they have the offense, they pretty much have the complete team. But, I mean, Green Bay, like I said, the way their defense played, I mean, if they can duplicate that, what they did last week going into this game, and, if they can establish the run, I think they have a chance. I mean, they have to be balanced. It can't be one-dimensional, or else they're going to get blown off the field. That's just what I believe will happen. So, but it's not going to be an easy game. It should be a good game, though, but all those things have to fall in place if they want to get the upset on the road.
I agree completely. I'm going to answer Jay Cruz in 71's question. Christmas Day, 1972, the final game at Old Municipal Stadium here in Kansas City. Ironically, between Chiefs and Dolphins, went into a second overtime period, the longest game in NFL history, where the Dolphins ended. The Chiefs, after that game, went 15 years without even going to the playoffs. So the answer to your question is yes.
Wow.
But I only know of one. It's a game, one of the darkest days in Chiefs history, because after that game, they didn't even go to the playoffs for the next 15 years. So, yeah. Yeah, and you can double check that. Yeah, it's the Chiefs missed a short field that would have won that game. My manager at work let me take a bereavement day after the Packers game. You know the deal, man. If I'm correct, though, you had anytime. I'm drawing a blank. Number 87. I think he played at Michigan too. The tight end. What's his name? The tight end for Dallas. I'm drawing a complete. Anyway, the deal had a prop bet on him anytime touchdown. If I'm correct, at plus, I think it was plus 135 or plus 140. Ferguson. I'm sorry. Yeah, the deal. I had a prop bet on Ferguson. Yeah. So great job collecting. But nobody saw that coming. Yeah, Ferguson cashed big. So I'm glad you won on that prop bet. I may have some action on a similar prop bet I'm going to share with you later in the show. I might have something similar later. But I want to touch base on Packers Niners because I really wanted, in my video, I said this. I really wanted to pick Green Bay. I don't have the balls. Keaton has the big balls here. And I agree. Green Bay has to have a balanced attack. I don't know if AJ Dillon's going to be healthy or not. If he is, are you planning on him being healthy? Is that why you picked the upset pick, or you just think Aaron Jones is just going to just have a great day? Okay, we're having an audio issue here. Your audio went dead here. Yeah. I'm going to add it to see if that worked. I apologize, Keaton. No, you had some good stuff, and then audio just went out on you. All right, so everybody, listen. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties. I'm going to blame Streamyard here. Not exactly sure what the issue is. So Keaton, can you hear me okay? Can you give me like a thumbs up or something if you can hear me? Okay, so you can hear me. I can't hear you at all. We can't hear you at all. So here, let me do this here. Keaton, hold on here. I'm going to try something different here. Bear with me here. All right, and I apologize. I'm kind of at a loss here of what to do at this point. Funk says with the stream going in and out, I apologize because I'm not really sure what's going on. I've had lots of guest ones. I've never had an issue, so I apologize. Yeah, I know. I'm at a complete loss too. I'm not really sure what's going on. Here, let me do this here. All right, I'm going to try something a little goofy here, and everybody, I apologize. Hey, Keaton, if you can hear me, I'm going to send you another link. I'm going to send you another link. Just try that link instead. And we'll see if that works. And again, I apologize. Yeah, it's glitchy. Can you guys give me a heads up? Is it glitchy on me as well, or is it just with Keaton? Because I on my end everything's okay. But if you're experiencing some glitchiness with me, please let me know. Okay, so I'm good. It's just so I sent Keaton a new link, and he's going to try that. So let's see if we can get Keaton. Keaton, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you great here.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so maybe it's something. It's actually as we were talking, or as I was trying to get to you, I'm with tech support also. So we'll see if we can get through this. If we get worst case scenario, we'll work something out later. So I apologize. I'm not really sure what's going on with StreamYard, but you're here now. At least I can hear you right now. I was asking about AJ Dillon and how much of an effect that has. And yeah, he was good. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. All good. Okay.
Yeah, my screen's good.
Okay. Never mind.
Oh, so I guess it's on both ends, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably just a stream. It's probably just StreamYard because I remember like it. Sometimes it kind of can be like in and out. Sometimes I remember trying going on it to try to record and it was doing the same thing. So I don't know. Like it was kind of being glitchy.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get through it. With your, if you can just summarize, I was trying to ask is AJ Dillon factoring into the running game, and that's the reason why you got Green Bay in an upset, a massive upset against San Francisco, or is there something a little more?
I mean, like I said, I mean they have a good duo in terms of running back. I mean, I know Dillon's dealing with a little bit of an injury, but I mean, like I said, the way Green Bay played last week, I think they can. I mean, I believe they can go in there and upset the 49ers. I mean, it's not impossible. I know, like I said, the 49ers are a great team, but you know, the Packers, they'll have something to say about that, especially with them being underdogs and they're the youngest team in these playoffs. You know, and I think they're going to be motivated to go in there and, you know, and potentially shock and beat the 49ers. So, I mean, they have nothing to lose, whether if they win or lose this game. I mean, I still think it's going to be a great game. I think they'll definitely, even if they lose the game, they'll cover the spread regardless. But I believe they can go surprise a lot of people.
I think it's going to be a fun first half. I think the 49ers with the rest, it's going to be a little much. But I wanted to do it, and I love the fact when I watched your video and I saw you had the Packers winning, I was like, I love it. This is awesome. This is I wish I would have. I'm going to kick myself if Green Bay wins this game because I really wanted to pick the Packers. I with the rest, it's too much. Let's go back to the first game here, Baltimore and Houston. Both the Bills and the Chiefs are going to cheer for the Texans here. You got Baltimore winning. I got Baltimore winning. Kind of break this game down. Give me kind of your thoughts on the Ravens here, or better yet here, how can Houston win this game?
Well, I mean, if you look at the first matchup in Week 1, the Baltimore won 25-9. Obviously, that's a Week 1 matchup. Both those, CJ Stroud hasn't played against the Ravens defense before. But I mean, like I said, they're a lot better than what they were in Week 1, significantly better. I think in order for the Texans to go in there and upset the Ravens, like I said, CJ Stroud's going to continue to ball out offensively. You know, what they did last week to the Cleveland, I mean, that shocked me the most. I mean, I didn't expect them to blow out Cleveland like that. And I actually had Cleveland win that game last week. But, they have to dominate offensively. Defensively, they're going to have to find a way to contain Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's just what it has to be, with how Lamar Jackson, with how Lamar Jackson is, how electrifying he is. He can basically do anything offensively. He can run, extend plays with his legs, all that stuff. So Houston's going to find a way to contain them and slow him down. And like I said, their defense is going to be, it's got to be on point. Basically,
that was the game.
The reason why I'm picking.
That's the reason why you're picking the Ravens. That was the game that I got that you didn't. Everything else was the same. I had Houston winning, and you had Cleveland. I really, as a Chiefs fan, I'm dying to have the Chiefs host a 6th consecutive AFC Conference title game. I'm dying to have a home playoff game. So it's Buffalo. So both us and Buffalo, the one thing we have in common, we're both cheering for Houston. Let me ask you this here. How confident are you that how confident are you Baltimore's going to win this game? They're 9.5-point favorite.
It's funny because I was always before I do my prediction videos, I always look at the spreads of each game, and like 9.5 is a little bit too much. Like, it's the playoffs, teams obviously they're going to lock in more on defense and stuff like that. But I mean, with how confident I am, if you look at the past, I mean, Baltimore had the number 1 seed. I think it was 2019. when they lost to Tennessee in the divisional round and they had a first round bye. So, but I think this Baltimore team this year is just a different team, and I think they're definitely more complete than they have been. This is probably the best team Lamar has had, and I think, like I said, even though they haven't played in a few weeks, I think they'll come out ready to go. I don't think they'll come out rusty. I think Lamar will continue to do his thing out there along with his supporting cast. So, it's not, like I said, nothing's guaranteed, but I do think the Ravens will find a way, whether if it's a close game or whatever. I think they'll find a way to win this game.
Yeah, I agree completely. This is the one game that me and you see perfectly eye to eye on, is we both see Baltimore winning. The extra rest, I think, will help. Even if Baltimore comes out rusty, which I think could happen, I see Baltimore winning. I do see Houston covering 9.5, and I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I do think Houston covers in this game, but I do believe that Baltimore will win, and unfortunately for everybody in the world, we'll have to see the Chiefs play in Baltimore next week, hopefully. But before we talk Chiefs Bills some more, let's go to another game that me and you see eye to eye on. Tampa Bay going to Detroit. If I'm correct, it was a Week 6 matchup. Detroit won 20-6. You got the Lions here. We got some Lions fans in the chat. Giving them some love here. What is kind of give me an idea here? What's your thoughts on this game? How this game's going to work out?
I think looking at this game, I think this is going to be a really good game, like high score. I'm talking about like high scoring. Like I said, the first matchup, Detroit pretty much dominated in Tampa. 20-6. They basically locked up on Baker Mayfield in the offense in that first matchup. But like I said, both teams are significantly better than what they were in Week 6. I think this game is in Detroit. Obviously, Detroit fans hasn't had a lot of success in the years. I know they've gone through a lot of misery and pain, obviously, but for them to get a home win last week against the Rams was big. You saw a lot of fans crying in the stands. Obviously, I did see that on live TV.
Awesome.
They deserve it. Like I said, they're at home here, and I think, like I said, Jared Goff and especially the defense, they held them out of the.
Yeah,
the same thing to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I apologize. The issue possibly could be Keaton. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, the issue might be on my end. I don't know if you're familiar. In Kansas City, the weather is below 0. Possibility it might be something with the equipment. Not exactly sure what. So I apologize. BD Buster reports James Houston is activated. That's a big plus here, because you didn't have Gibbs. Now you may have Houston. Look at this here. I got Gooch in the house. He says, yeah, you guys deserve refunds. You guys deserve better than this. So I apologize for technical issues that we're having, but Gooch, the B and the Back Talk brothers, the great one, the talent, Gooch. I'm glad you're in the chat. So wanted to join. But apparently he is the male entertainment at the Men's Elks Lodge tonight. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but he said something about getting paid in all singles. So I'm not exactly sure what's with your boy, but that's why he couldn't be here tonight. Lions didn't have Branch, Jackson, Gibbs, CJ, GJ, Houston, and Demo went down in the first half. The issue last game, though, was Baker failed to hit Evans deep a few times that he was wide open. This was actually what I wanted to touch base on with Keaton here. Let me ask you, let me flip this around. Let me flip the script here. How does Tampa win this game?
Sorry, I can't. How does Tampa what again? Sorry.
How does Tampa Bay win this game? Because both of us have the Lions winning, but how does Tampa win this game?
I mean, Tampa. I mean, like I said, I mean, they pretty much dominated Philly the way they did defensively. So I think they have to just keep themselves in the game. I mean, to the fourth quarter. I think that's the key. And offense has been hot the past few weeks. I think, Tampa's defense is going to have to do their part on that side to try to limit Jared Goff in that hot Detroit offense. And that's what I believe. And Baker's going to continue to play phenomenal football. Him and was it not Godwin? What's the receiver's name?
Oh, you got Evans and Godwin.
Tampa.
You got Evans, Godwin, and then
Godwin. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, Godwin.
Evans.
Funk says Tampa
continue to do their thing on that side, and just they're going to have to be on the same page and communicate to win this game.
So I did when I did the video, I brought up that when Tampa runs for over 100 yards, they're 5-1 against the Lions. I firmly believe that they really need to try to establish the run, and I've been critical of Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator. I at the beginning of the year I said he should have been fired, but the Lions are second in running defense in the NFL, so that's kind of the matchup that I'm really thinking favors the Lions, because I think what's going to happen in this game is I think Tampa's going to have to be one dimensional, and I just see pressure. The only way you got to establish the run, and Baker would have to outplay Goff, and I'm not sure he can do that. But we both have the Lions winning. The game that I really want to get your opinion on here, and I really want to go into some detail because I am a big time Chiefs fan. Season ticket holder since '89. Chiefs and Bills. Bills are 2.5-point favorite. Now, nobody is critical. Nobody is saying anything wrong here about your picks. Nobody is saying that I'm better. Nobody is saying that I pick better. Nobody's rubbing it in that I got 4 right and you only got 3. Nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that. But let's bring up your pick here, because you got the Buffalo Bills winning against my Chiefs. Break this game down. I really want to get somebody's opinion who's not a Chiefs fan. Because you're a Patriots fan, I got to think you're pulling for the Chiefs a little bit. But break this game down and explain how the Bills are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you look at this matchup, especially over the last few years, this game's been played in Kansas City. Like I said, Mahomes had his way against Josh Allen, this Bills team, in the playoffs. But like I said before, I said if the Bills want to get to the Super Bowl, if they want to at least knock off the Chiefs, they're going to have to get the home field, or at least the home playoff game against them, and that's what happened. Now, I didn't realize that Bills have a lot of injuries on the defense. So that concerns me a little bit, but, I think this is their time to, take advantage of, like I said, the Chiefs team that hasn't been, they're good, but like I said, the receivers obviously have the most drops in football. So that's a bit of a concern, like I said, but I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, but I just think this is one of those games. It's in Buffalo. I think their fans are going to be ready to go. So I'm more excited to see what Mahomes does on the road in a hostile environment. But I think the Bills, I give them the edge here just because, like I said, they're at home. I think they need to take advantage of this opportunity, not having to go to Kansas City for once. So, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs won. You can't write off the Super Bowl champs. So we'll see what happens. But it should be a phenomenal game.
We'll have to see what happens. One Pride 40 wants to ask, what do you think of the Mayo hire? You missed it earlier, but Keaton predicted 0-17 for the Patriots next year. So, but actually, Keaton, if you don't mind,
it can't get any worse than what it was this year.
Hey, reiterate kind of what you
Hopefully
said.
Not.
You said some really good things. And also, I have a backup question here. If you don't mind answering One Pride's question, we think of the Mayo hire, but talk about who you're looking at the offensive coordinator. What kind of news are you hearing? Because we both just recently heard about Bill O'Brien. Do you have an in-house candidate, or is there something else going on?
Like for the Patriots, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard rumors about maybe Josh McDaniels coming back, but I don't know if I'm not sure about that one. No, I haven't really heard much about any other offensive coordinators, really much, other than the Bill O'Brien going to Ohio State. But I haven't really heard much about. I know the Patriots they basically are clean house. I mean, Gerard Mayo coming here, and stuff like that. I think obviously they're going to get a new coordinator. Now I'm hearing stuff about they may wait till close to draft to actually get a coordinator. I'm not sure if that's 100% or not, but that's all I've heard so far. I haven't really heard much of anything about the offensive coordinator. But what I think of the Gerard Mayo hire, I mean, I love the hire. I mean, like I said, this has been that he's been wanting this for a long time. Obviously, Bill Belichick has been the coach. So I love the hire right now in the NFL.
According to Perry,
for the hire, we definitely need some. Was it?
It's just the kind of the streams kind of going in and out here. According to Perry, says the Patriots need to rebuild. What are your thoughts there? Is this a thing where you guys are just going to be bad for a couple years and then it's just going to take some time, or is there any chance that you guys can just get everything turned around like next season? Can Mayo bring that spark in?
I mean, I think he can. I mean, like I said, obviously with how things are going, obviously we're tearing everything down. I mean, of course, it's going to take time. It's not going to hear and say we're going to be worse next year. I mean, I think we will. Depends on how the rest of the offseason goes. Obviously, we need here we were in the top 8, especially without Judon and Christian Gonzalez, who are obviously those are 2 best players on that side. So like I said, it depends on, like I said, who our offense coordinator is, how we start off the season, and who we get in free agency and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, it's not just one thing with the quarterback. There's a lot of things we have to address, especially with how this season went, with us going 4-13, which obviously I didn't expect us to be this bad this year, but it happens.
I didn't either. They were my surprise pick to win the AFC East because I loved the defense. I thought the defense was just awesome, and I really thought if your offense was just kind of middle of the pack with that defense. The one thing that kind of stands out, it was funny because I had a couple of guests on, and they asked about. We all had differences of opinion what the number one problem is with the Patriots. Perry says he thinks it's best for the Patriots to trade down in picks or take the best offensive tackle. The Patriots are going to pick 3rd overall in this draft. What are you expecting from New England to do with the number 3 pick in the draft?
I mean, I've been saying this all along. I mean, we definitely need. I think we need a quarterback. I mean, at the end of the day, if we don't have a competent quarterback, now I know there's issues. Obviously, we need a good offensive line to be able to put that young quarterback in the best position to succeed. But I just don't think Mac Jones is, like I said, I know he's had his year this year. I know fans have had mixed feelings about him, but I haven't really been impressed. You know, the way he's throwing the football down the field. You know, I don't know how I feel. I mean, I think we need to get a quarterback in the draft. I think that's what we'll. I mean, especially with our pick being this high, I think this is the highest our pick has been probably ever in the franchise. So I think we have to try to.
You have to go back.
Pick up. I think we have to try to get a quarterback.
The last time you guys had to pick this high was Drew Bledsoe, I believe, in the 90 or 91.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, and that was was God. I mean, that was actually before Belichick, but he was your quarterback when Belichick was first got here. Talented guy though, talented. Mm-hmm. I was a big Bledsoe fan. I just, he's no Brady. You're picking third in the draft.
No.
I mean, you're picking third in the draft. Are you trying to trade up the one? I mean, what are your thoughts here?
Wait, if we trade up to number one?
All right, I'm going to ask you this here. Do you want to trade up to one?
I mean, I've heard rumors about us trading up to one. I don't think – I think Chicago's going to take them out. They're going to keep that pick, and they're going to trade – or not trade, but they're going to either get Caleb Williams or they may even get Marvin Harris. I don't know. I mean, I've said this throughout the season. I think the Bears should stick with Justin Fields, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, like, what the type of year the Bears had. I know they went 7-10, but, like, they were a lot better than they were last year. So, like, if the Bears somehow take Caleb Williams at the number one pick, is it guaranteed that they're going to be better next year? I mean, those are questions you have to ask. Like, does Caleb Williams not just – we know what type of player he is and stuff like that in terms of the physical tools and all that. But with all his, antics, like, obviously he's been crying on the field or whatever. People say he's been crying and all that stuff like that, or he complains too much. But, like, I don't know if the Bears need that with all the other issues they have going on. I don't think it makes sense for them to pick. I think they should keep Fields and build around him. And I'm not saying that I want Caleb Williams out on my team. I mean, I honestly, for the Patriots, I'd rather take either Drake May or Jaden Daniels, in my opinion. I think those are, I mean, I'm just talking about in terms of the fit in the scheme with the team. I don't think Caleb Williams really makes sense for us.
I agree completely. It's kind of funny. I hope that if you do, so I don't know if you're planning on doing any draft stuff. I'm already looking at mock drafts and I'm doing a lot of stuff. So if you're doing any draft stuff, hopefully I can have you come back on talk draft stuff, because I'm dying to find out what New England's going to do at the third pick in the draft.
Yeah, me too.
I know I'm going to do a ton of mock drafts. Already been looking at some stuff, but I agree completely. I think if you do take a quarterback, I don't think Williams is the guy. I think Jaden Daniels' stock is just going to skyrocket in the next couple of weeks, because he can easily say, "Hey, look, I got the best. I got the best tape." Funk says, "I don't think Chicago finds a trade for this year." I think they will, because I think somebody's going to fall in love with Caleb Williams, and I want to wait and see, but I think it's going to be Washington, because Caleb Williams is from DC, so I just think that's it. No, I agree, Perry. Perry says there are too many holes to waste on the quarterback when your O-line needs talent to protect. Yeah, I thought if Belichick stayed there, I would have circled Joe Alt, who I think is a Belichick guy. With Mayo and what the unknown is at offensive coordinator, I have no idea what the Patriots are going to do. That's kind of an interesting thing. Because I really have
one thing I would say. Yeah, like I said, I mean, Bill Belichick, obviously all the times that he's been here when he's picked the draft, like, obviously he hasn't really done a great job at what he does in terms of picking the right people for organization. So I think that's one of the reasons why Kraft decided to pull the plug and decide to move on from him, because I don't think we can afford to go another year with, picking the wrong player like we did with N'Keal Harry one year. You know, Bill Belichick thought he was going to be a number one. Yeah, turn out.
I love N'Keal Harry coming out of the draft. I loved N'Keal Harry coming out of the draft. So I get it. But that was a disaster. I mean, that was a complete disaster. I thought it was injuries. Just the guy just couldn't play, which was a shame on the field. Because like I watched him at Arizona State, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to be a stud, and he couldn't. Perry says maybe Daniel goes number one. That's a possibility, Perry.
It's a possibility.
We're going to find out a lot of stuff at the combine, and with Jaden Daniel, it's not really going to be what he does on the field. I want to see what he does in the interview room. I want to see what he does on the whiteboard. Yeah. That's all really important. But I'm gonna let you know right now. Like I've seen some crazy mock drafts. I saw one that was garbage. I'm not even going to talk about how bad it was. This clown. I shouldn't say him because I follow him on social media. He had McCarthy going in the first round, the Michigan quarterback, but he left Penix out of the first round. And I'm very high on Penix. But speaking of Penix, because I think he could go to Atlanta at 8, where a certain New England coach has been interviewed twice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this here. How are you going to feel when Belichick signs with the team and you have to play against him next year? And I think the NFL schedule makers are going to do this.
Oh, yeah, I agree. You're not wrong. I mean, it's going to be definitely weird, especially like I do think he's going to go to – now, it's funny. If you saw my video about Bill Belichick departure, I gave like my 4 teams I think he can go to. I picked Dallas as one of the favorites, but until they brought back Mike McCarthy. But yeah, I definitely think Atlanta is definitely one of the teams up top that definitely can get Bill Belichick. Like I said, answering your question about next year, it's definitely gonna be weird seeing him in another with another team for sure. I mean, it's just weird. I'm like, all the years he's been with us, and now he's gonna go to another team. But like I said, I just hope Bill Belichick at the end of the day, I just hope he finds the right team for him. Obviously, I think he needs to go somewhere where he can, because he's like 15 wins away from Shula, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to pick the right team that he's gonna. I mean, I would love to see him either there or the Chargers. I mean, I know that the Chargers are interviewing Harbaugh, but I think Justin Herbert. I mean, all the Chargers are missing is that right coach. I've been saying that all season. I mean,
dude, I've been saying that for a long time. I think Chargers got as much talent as anybody. Let me ask you this here, because I apologize. I didn't see the video because I would be interesting here, because I had Belichick going to the Commanders, but when I rated the teams and the openings, the number one team, and I don't even think it's close. So you tell me if I'm right or if you agree or disagree here. I think Atlanta's easily the best opening. I think it's easily the best job available. Am I wrong there, or are you thinking that there's another job that might be better? I had him go to Washington originally, but I do think Atlanta's the best job.
Yeah, and I just recently heard that the Commanders aren't really interested in him in Belichick anymore. I saw some rumors about that, but I mean, I mean, you're not wrong about Atlanta. I think that's definitely the right situation for him. Not just the location, but like, look what division you're in. You're in probably the weakest division in football.
Exactly.
So I mean, why not take your chance to go to somewhere like Atlanta? I mean, who knows? They could probably win that division. I mean, that division's not hard to win. I mean, you can win 9 games to get you in. I mean, look at Tampa. They won 9 games, and that got them in. So, I mean, it's not impossible for Belichick to go down there and get that team. And Atlanta's got some nice pieces. I mean, Robinson, that running back they have, is pretty good. I'm not sure about the quarterback. I mean, Desmond Ridder obviously has had some ups and downs throughout the season. So it'll be interesting to see what Belichick does there. But I mean, I think that's definitely the easiest, location for him to go to. I mean, in terms of teams, unless something else opens up.
Yeah, I agree completely. See, I had Belichick going to Washington. I was hearing that, but when I heard Belichick was interviewing with Atlanta, I think it's a no-brainer. Atlanta's easily the best job available. At least that's my opinion. I thought I had the Raiders as the second best, but I was convinced
Raiders. Oh yeah.
I was convinced Pierce would stay with the Raiders, which if you didn't hear this yet, Antonio Pierce, it's been finalized. He will be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's no longer the interim. They hired him. The contract details are being worked out, but the Raiders have made it official.
Much deserved.
Hours ago. Yeah, much deserved. Did a great job.
Yeah.
Ruined everybody's Christmas by beating the Chiefs. Nobody liked that. It was awful.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Perry asked a great question here. Do you think Belichick and Terry Fontenot can work together with Belichick clean out? Terry Fontenot's the GM there in Atlanta. What do you think here, Keaton?
It's going to be interesting because I've heard stuff about, when Belichick was here in New England, he pretty much had full power in terms of the decisions with the roster and all that stuff. So I'm hearing stuff about him may not be able to do everything in terms of power. He might just go there just to coach and not make personnel decisions. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there, especially because he's been pretty much in full power all this time in New England. So I'm not sure if Atlanta will give him all that power. So we'll see. I don't know much information right now, but I don't know what it's like down there in terms of with the GM and the relationship with with Terry Fort. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. So what they did for the longest time is they tried to do the Bill Belichick method. They had Thomas Dimitrioff, who was there in New England. He was the GM in Atlanta for I think like 12 to 15 years, and they kept on bringing coaches, executives from New England. So I don't know. I think Belichick may, if he takes that Atlanta job, he may just clean everything out. But they have an extra pick in the third round. If you look at what the Houston Texans did, and that they had this number, they got the number 2 pick in the draft, and they traded up, and they gave up a number 1 in this year's draft to move up to 3. I could easily see Atlanta doing this, and Funk nailed it. And you said the same thing. This division is I mean, Baker Mayfield's a free agent. Yep. Who knows what he wants to do? Carolina's a disaster. The Saints are $87 million over the cap. It's crazy. So if you stay at 8,
that is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the 8th pick in the draft. I think Michael Penix could come in immediately and upgrade that offense. You got weapons, but you can also go on free agency and get somebody who can just right the ship just well enough to get 10 wins. 9 wins wins the division this year. 2 years ago, the Bucks with Tom Brady were 8-9. I got the 2 mixed up. But so I mean, I agree completely.
It's going to be interesting to see, like, if Penix goes. I mean, if he does go to Atlanta at the 8th pick, I mean, you saw in that Michigan game, like, he was running for his life out there. So, like, he's going to have to get all the offensive line help that he can, because if he doesn't, I don't really see him lasting long in the NFL. So he's going to have to just rely heavy.
Atlanta's O-line's not bad. I mean, really, Atlanta needs some edge rushers, and they need a quarterback. And if they have a good quarterback, if they can get somebody who does like what C.J. Stroud did in Houston, that's a 12-win team in Atlanta, in my opinion. I think they can do that, but it's rare to have a quarterback come in as a rookie and be as good as C.J. Stroud was. C.J. Stroud, very, very impressive as a rookie. I love what he did.
Right.
It's amazing.
Kind of for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I kind of just went off on a rant here. I kind of want to get back to Chiefs Bills here, because you got Buffalo winning. Flip the script here. Kansas City wins this game. Reverse engineer it. How do the Chiefs beat the Bills from an outside observer?
Oh, wait, sorry, your question. Sorry, your thing went off. What was it? You said the Chiefs.
How did the Chiefs beat the Bills?
Oh, okay. How did the Chiefs beat the Bills? Like I said, I mean, I already know what Mahomes is going to do. I mean, he's a special player, obviously, and has always been. Obviously, the receivers are just going to have to step up. I mean, the supporting cast is going to have to step up and just do their part. Receivers are going to have to catch footballs down the field. Travis Kelce obviously has to get going on that side. And like I said, it's going to be interesting because, like I said, this is Mahomes' first road playoff game in his career. So I'm curious to see how he's going to come out. I'm curious to see what the Buffalo Bills do defensively against him. But if, like I said, and then they're gonna lose. I mean, like I said, the Chiefs got to continue to do what they're doing offensively and their defense too. Don't forget the Chiefs' defense is one of the best in football. I mean, you held the Dolphins to 7 points. I know the weather. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, they held a good Dolphins team. Obviously, I know they've been struggling. I mean, basically shut that offense down. So I mean, if they can do that again, I mean, it's not impossible to go into Buffalo and win. So just got to play solid defense, and the receiver just has to catch. Plain and simple. That's just who I think. So.
No, I actually had the Bills. I was going to pick the Bills to win the game, but they had so many injuries that there's so many problems. Yeah, and they're not going to be. They're going to miss multiple starters in the secondary, maybe 2 backup inside linebackers. Without even this is after replacing Milano and. You have Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice is just taken off, and there's a good possibility we're going to get Kadarius Toney and Justin Ross back. So I just think with the injuries on the Bills, it's just the Bills have been just ravaged by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. It's just, I mean, they're playing with some like third string linebackers. Yeah, and if the Bills were healthy. With as hot as they've been, I would go with the Bills. I'm going with the Chiefs because when the Chiefs played the Bills, the Chiefs were the more banged up team. Now they're easily the more healthy team. Kansas City's basically at 100%. As far as the AFC is concerned, the Kansas City Chiefs are the healthiest team in all the 4 remaining. And that's why I like the Chiefs. And it might have something to do with the fact that I'm a Chiefs fan. I might be it. And Denver Gator.
It's going to be interesting too. Oh, man.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying it's going to be interesting because, like, if you watch that first matchup, at the end of the game where Mahomes was like, the rest were terrible, like shaking hands, like that's going to be interesting see how Josh Allen comes out because. I mean, normally at the end of the game, you shake hands, you say good game, but like Mahomes obviously wasn't having it with the refs. So it'll be interesting to see how Josh Allen comes out and takes that in this matchup. Now that he's at home now. It is
going to be interesting because they are friends and they do like doing a little trash talk. And I've been kind of critical on Allen, so it sounds like I'm an anti-Allen guy. It's not the case. I think win or lose, Mahomes is still a better quarterback. But I'm a huge Josh Allen fan and always will be. I had when he was a senior at Wyoming, I used to take Krav Maga, and I was sparring with one of his former teammates at the University of Wyoming. He played linebacker, and I was like, dude, hey, listen, can you tell me about Josh Allen? He's like, he's the best athlete you'll ever see. Like, he could play tight end, he could play linebacker, he could play safety, he could do everything. He's just raw as hell. And I remember hearing about that, and he was a real cool guy too. So like ever since before Josh Allen got into the NFL, I was kind of a Josh Allen fan. But do I think he's as good as Mahomes? Do I believe Bills fans when they tell me he's better than Mahomes? No, I don't believe that. No, even if the Bills win this game, and Allen outperforms Mahomes, which is possible, Mahomes still better. And there's nothing wrong with that. Denver Gator says, what's up, nerds? You have Keaton from Keaton Talks Sports, Denver Gator. And I'm going to add this here. Keaton has a YouTube channel. He did a video. He went 3-3 last week. Now, Denver Gator, let's not talk down to Keaton because he wasn't as good as me. All right. I got 4 games right, and Keaton got 3. But nobody is saying that I am better than Keaton. Nobody is saying that, Denver Gator. Just so you know, nobody is saying this. Nobody is saying this. Nobody is saying that because Keaton got 3 and I got 4. Nobody is saying that 4 is better than 3. Let's just get that out of the way, Denver Gator.
Thank the Dallas Cowboys for that.
Yeah. The game. So both of us got that. The game that we got different. I had the Texans. You had the Browns. But we both had the Cowboys. So. Perry said,
"Oh yeah.
That was the game.
Yeah.
I had the Texans, and again, you know, just to be clear, nobody is saying that I'm better than Keaton. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. Perry says the wide receivers need to catch the ball for the whole games. Travis K needs to impact the game. Kinsey's defense needs to keep Allen in check. So I'm gonna actually
Taylor Swift too.
Yeah, Taylor's. No, by the way, let me ask you this here because you're not in Kansas City. How do you feel about Taylor Swift? Now, I know this for a fact. You're a huge Taylor Swift fan. So that's good to know. So, by the way, Keaton Talk Sports, huge Taylor Swift fan.
Oh.
You've been to 5 of her concerts or 6? I get the number mixed up. So, Keaton Talk Sports, huge Taylor.
0.
So somebody who's not in Kansas City, what's your opinion on the Taylor Swift viewings at NFL games?
I mean, like watching it on TV is like, I mean, Taylor Swift is pretty sure she's a good person. I'm not saying anything bad about Taylor Swift, but it's just like the views. It's just like everyone's like all in it. Like when she goes on TV, everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, it's Taylor Swift. She's awesome." And like I say, her concerts are. I mean, I've seen some of her concerts like on YouTube and stuff. It's it looks electric.
He's been to several.
Yeah, but I wish if I had that type of money. But yeah, I mean Taylor Swift. I mean the views obviously are off the charts. I know. Was it Travis Kelce's dating or whatever he's doing there? But I meant to ask you a question. How do you feel about Travis Kelce? Do you think that's affecting his play a little bit with him? Swift?
I think it's had 0 effect. But so here's a fun fact. Me and Travis Kelce have the same birthday, so I know exactly when Travis's birthday is, and he'll be 35 in October. And I had Chiefs fans try telling me that he's going to play for another 5 years. I'm like, what the fuck are you smoking? When you get to be so he's 34 this year. He was 34 after week 4, I believe it was.
I didn't know he was 34. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he'll be 35 at the start of the season. When you play in the NFL, and here's the thing, he's called a tight end, but he's a big fucking receiver. That's what he is. The Chiefs don't ask him to do tight end things, and that's kind of a new thing about football. But I think it's had 0 effect. But I think the fact that he's 34 and this is his 10th or 11th year in the league, his rookie season, he tore his ACL, missed the whole year. And then he's been pretty much an Iron Man, but he missed the first week of the season with a non-contact injury. And that's what I think it is that it's age. I mean, I could go through NFL history and give you players that ended their careers on bad notes. Jason Kelce, for example, I mean, that was brutal watching him lose in a game where the Eagles just looked like they gave up. And I believe, even though he hasn't officially announced it yet, it's probably Jason Kelce, the Eagles center, probably his last game. So, but yeah, I think it's had 0 effect on his game. But I think being 34, all those playoff games, I think that's had an effect because I mean he's going to play almost all of next year at 35. Perry has a great comment here. The receivers need to catch the ball the whole games. Travis K needs to impact the game. Kansas City needs to keep Allen in check. What are your thoughts on Perry's comment here?
I mean, it's 100% right. I mean, like I said, Kansas City's going to have to find a way to, contain Josh Allen. I mean, they're going to have to contain his, his ability to run out of the pocket. They're going to have to keep him in the pocket and just make life difficult for him and not make things easy. So, I mean, like I said, if the Chiefs can get some hits on Josh Allen, then they can find a way to slow him down a little bit. I mean, they keep this game close in the fourth quarter. I mean, Kansas City definitely has a chance. And obviously Mahomes, we know how he is in clutch time. It's just going to depend on his receivers. Can they catch when it matters most?
All right. So I have a very, very special treat. And unfortunately I can't do it because I can't show this to you because it's a little confusing. So I have what's called Google Fiber, but they have the router in Texas, which is not a state that legalizes sports betting. So I can't legally show this to you. So I can't show you, but I have it on my phone because in Kansas, you can do sports betting. So I have a prop bet and I took an alternate bet because I got DraftKings gave me $10. So I said, I'm going to play $10 on an alternate. So I have Travis Kelce over 48.5 yards receiving. I was going to try to show it to you on my computer, but because the routers in Texas, it says that I'm not legally. I can show you the bets. Actually, let me see here. But it won't let me post. So the way it works is that if I want to put a bet, if I want to post a bet, I can only post it on my. Okay, actually, hold on here. I can do this here. Let's see if I can show you the bet. It's just a $10 bet. It's just a $10 bet. We'll see if I can. So, just bear in mind here, but it's just a $10 bet. As you see, I took over. This is an alternate bet, so you can adjust the betting, but I just took over 47.5. So I do have a prop bet. I think Travis Kelce is going to be the key because you have some backup linebackers, some backup defensive backs. Rashee Rice, because he had that really big game. I think additional attention will be put on Rice. It'll take off of Kelce.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think that if you are going to bet on this game, you want to do some prop bet action. Take a look at Travis Kelce. By the way, he would have went over last week as well. So that's a little betting advice here from me. And so hopefully you'll tune in. I'll be doing play-by-play live for Chiefs Bills. Buffalo all the way this time. Nobody wants to see the Bills win. Denver Gator. Nobody wants to see it. Denver Gator asks anybody catching Dan's overcompensation. I knew a guy who was terrible with women, and he drove a Corvette. So that's true.
Corvette, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, no, I do not drive a Corvette. First three letters are correct. It's a Corolla, and it's awesome, except for this noise it's been making lately. But my Corolla is fantastic. Perry says for the Bills to beat Kansas City, Allen needs to play at the top of his game. Kincaid needs to break out. Diggs needs to play well. So it's kind of funny because I really think that the key to the game is that Allen will need to run the ball, which during the regular season but in the playoffs, I want to see Allen run the ball. The one big plus is that Nick Bolton, the Chiefs star inside linebacker, didn't play week 14. The linebacking core is healthy and good to go. And I think that's going to be a major advantage. That 50, I think it was a 52-yard touchdown run against Pittsburgh last week was one of the greatest runs I've ever seen a quarterback make in my life. It's one of the best ever. He's not going to do that against Kansas City. So, man, you don't dog Keaton's girl, man. Keaton's a huge Taylor Swift. So here's the deal. In Kansas City, Keaton, everybody hates Taylor Swift. They're just so sick of it. And I can't get enough of it. I think it's awesome. I love it. love it. I love Taylor Swift. I think I agree with you. They need to show more of her, not less. And that's his big thing. I think Travis Kay's got 2 more years at best. I actually thought he would retire this year. I thought he would retire with his brother, but I think he plays for maybe Perry. I can name.
He probably plays for one more year or two.
I mean, I could go down. I can name you Hall of Fame players that ended their career on bad notes, and the wall ends fast, man. The wall ends fast. I mean, you think that you can play for another years. It's tough, man. Playing in the NFL is a young man's game. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just next year.
You got to go through all the training too in the offseason. I mean,
by the way,
how much motivation does he have for that too?
So this is a big story this weekend or this year is that Travis Kelce was getting in a ton of fights in training camp. It was like almost every day he was getting in a fight. And what it was is that the defense was playing him hard, and he credits it now, but during training camp he hated it. That was a huge story in Kansas City. But Denver Gator doing good. Playoffs are here. Oh yeah. By the way, Denver Gator, I'll be live. Chiefs Bills. I don't have the link set up yet, but I'll have that set up either tonight or early tomorrow. What do you think will happen this offseason for Denver? What are they doing free agency in the draft? They trade or cut Wilson? That's a good one. Funk, I was looking this up for you. The over-under for Josh Allen's rushing yards is 42.5. And I'm going to level with you. I like the over on this one. I really think that the Bills need to run Josh Allen in order to win. And I think what the Chiefs are going to try and do is take that away. It wouldn't surprise me if you see like 2-3 rushers and dropping 8 back in the coverage. I really think that you're going to see that. I think that Chiefs are really going to focus on that. Yeah. But I do. The number's 42.5, and I like it. And I want to go over this in a little more detail. I think Allen rushes. So Allen was rushing less, and then when Joe Barry took over, he started running more, and the offense really took off. The magic number DraftKings has is 42.5, and I like the over. I like the over quite a bit.
It's gonna be interesting to see what, that number you said about him running. It's gonna be interesting to see if he can get over that. I mean, like I said, the Chiefs defense. Like I said, they've been playing pretty good on that side. So, if they find a way to keep them under that number, the Bills might be in some trouble here, especially if the Chiefs can limit or can keep the Bills one-dimensional.
That's what I think. I really think that's what Kansas City is going to try and do. Is I think that they're going to try to keep the Bills one-dimensional, and that's a scary number to me. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it either. Funk 42.5 is a big number. I do like the over. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
So Perry, I want to go into detail because I got a theory and I want to bounce this off Keaton. I think it's just the opposite. How teams have played Kansas City all year is to try to control the clock, limit the Chiefs to possessions. And I think it's just the opposite. I think the Chiefs in this game are going to try to shorten the game. I think the Chiefs are going to try to run the ball and limit Josh Allen's possessions because Josh Allen has turned the ball over quite a bit. Yeah. So let me ask you this here, Keaton. Are you on board with me in thinking that the Chiefs want to do just the opposite and that they want to keep this game short, or do you think the Chiefs want to try and win a shootout?
I agree. I think they will try to limit Josh Allen's possessions. That's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. Like I said, the more you can keep him on those sidelines, the better chance you have. Look what the Packers did. To the Cowboys. They won that game because they kept Dak Prescott and the offense on the sidelines. They pretty much, in that whole first quarter, they pretty much just milked all the clock. And Dallas didn't get the ball towards the end of the first there. So, I think that's what Kansas City has to do is just limit the Bills offensively.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Normally, if you're a Chiefs fan, you got Mahomes, you want to win a shootout. I think it's just the opposite. I think you want to try to make this a low scoring game and run the ball and really because here's the deal. If this game gets tight, I think the Bills have more pressure than the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs can say, "Hey, look, it's a playoff.
Oh yeah,
on the road." I think if this game gets close.
Absolutely.
Because of the playoff losses, I could see the Bills really tightening things up. So if I'm Kansas City, I could really see them running the ball and just trying to control the clock, kicking field goals, and then just saying, you know what, you got some backups there at linebacker, you got the backup defensive back. So late in the game, we can make a play.
Yeah,
we don't know if you can. And that's another reason why I really like Kansas City is I think the pressure is more on Buffalo than it is for the Chiefs. But I was kind of curious if somebody doesn't have the dog in the fight. But you obviously, I was a little surprised you would agree with that. Funk says I could see the Bills win and Allen having 4. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I'm gonna level with you. I think the Chiefs are really going to focus on stopping Josh Allen run. And they're going to try to make him pass because Allen's thrown 18 interceptions this year, and he didn't have a turnover against Pittsburgh.
You got basically just brought me to my next point. Like it's going to come down to turnovers too. Like, like Mahomes obviously has done a pretty solid job not putting the ball in harm's way. I mean, Josh Allen, you saw what he did against Miami in Week 18 through 3, even though they won. And he still ended up throwing 3 interceptions in that game. So, like I said, he's going to have to just be smart and not turn the ball over. I mean, I think if he has turnovers in his game, it's going to be – I think the Chiefs might come on top there. So, keep your eyes on that.
That's exactly – that's kind of another issue is I think that the Chiefs are going to win the turnover battle. But the thing that I think that's really interesting about this game is that all season I said there's a blueprint to how you beat the Chiefs. You keep Mahomes on the bench, you hold the Chiefs to field goals, and you try to win the turnover battle. And I think it's just the opposite here. I think the Chiefs are going to go into this game and they're going to try to prevent Josh Allen from running. I think that they're just going to try to run the ball, play ball control. I mean, you have to realize, I mean, you're looking at 3rd, 4th string linebackers, and they've had some issues on the defensive line. So that's an advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs running game. So that was kind of my logic. I was getting ready to pick the Bills, but looking at those injuries, and now I'm like Kansas City. Denver Gator says no clue for the offseason.
Yeah.
A lot of dead money to let Russ go. Get a trade partner, Falcons, Pats, who knows? By the way, Denver Gator, I should show you this. I don't want to trash the guy because I follow him on social media, but he had Penix out of the 1st round, but he had J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback, at like 20-something. And I just saw this mock draft a few hours ago.
Wow.
This is just a comically bad mock draft for somebody. And this is one of the things I hope, Keaton, if you do draft stuff, I want you to come back on during draft season. And because like this was one of the worst drafts I've ever seen. And it's comically bad and it's ingrained in my head.
Penix out of the
Penix.
I mean, Penix, he'll go the 1st round.
But McCarthy in the 1st round.
Yeah.
And he went on a rant like, oh, McCarthy's better than Penix. And it's like, what the fuck are you watching? I mean, it's
and the thing is too is like, if you watch McCarthy throughout this season, I mean, like a lot, even like Michigan fans are saying like he's a game manager quarterback. Like he doesn't turn the ball over. He makes the right reads to his receivers. Like, I mean, those are things you have to look at. If you watch the tape.
No, I mean, I've not. There's nothing about McCarthy that looks to me to be a 1st round player. Nothing. I've seen nothing. But Penix has that NFL arm. But yeah, Denver Gator. There's a lot of questions. It's going to be interesting because we were talking earlier. Belichick's interviewed twice for the Falcons job. I could see that. There's going to be a trade partner somewhere. I don't think Russell Wilson's with Denver next year, but it'll be interesting. Funk, I'm glad that you agree with me. I was kind of curious how you guys would feel about me saying there's more pressure on Buffalo than there is for Kansas City, but I really believe that, and that's kind of why I like Kansas City, because I think if this game is close, the closer this game is going into that fourth quarter, the better Kansas City has a chance to win. The only way, it would be a bad thing is if Buffalo's up, 17, 20 points going into the fourth quarter. So if Pacheco and CH can run the ball,
it's going to be too, like, if it's a high scoring game.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. No, I was just saying, like, if that Bills and Chiefs game ends up being a high scoring game, like, it's going to be curious to see who gets the ball last. I mean, whoever that's going to, like I said, it's going to come down to possessions too. So that's all I need.
Exactly. That's why I think the shorter the game, the better. And by the way, Perry, I think the Chiefs will surprise people. I think they'll run the ball, but you can't put 7, 8 in a box when you got a quarterback like Mahomes. I love this, Funk. Allen isn't even in the Jim Kelly talk yet to me, and he is probably hearing it from some fans now. At least Kelly got to the Super Bowl. You're probably right. You also say I've heard McCarthy going late in the first, and there may be a team that I want to see what he does at the combine, but I don't see it right now. But I mean, we got some time. We got some time. Perry says, I think both Kansas City and the Bills have the same pressure on them. The Bills need to beat Kansas City, and the Kansas City fan base put lots of pressure. The Chiefs fans have been. Depends on where Harbaugh will do. Yeah. Actually, this is a great question for Keaton. Jim Harbaugh, where does he end up at?
That's gonna be. I think he ends up with the Chargers. I mean, how could you not? I mean, have Justin Herbert and all that. I really think he does. I mean, like I said, he doesn't need to. I mean, he basically won a national championship with Michigan. I mean, unless you want to go back to Michigan and try to, defend your title. I mean, I don't know the chances of that happening, but
yeah. Well, let me ask you that.
Yeah, man, I definitely see him with the Chargers.
You think he's with the Chargers? That out of all the teams, that's the one place that like I could kind of see like some things happening. But as an Ohio State fan, are you scared of having him back at Michigan? Are you hoping he leaves for the NFL? I think he's going to stay at Michigan this year. I think he's going to stay and wait one more year.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing too is like I think both scenarios are possible. I mean, I think he definitely stay in Michigan too. And that's the thing. Like, I know Ohio State just got, what's his name? Bill O'Brien. But like I said, I want it to beat Michigan next year. That's the main thing with me. And I was an Ohio State fan. That's just my main thing. I want to beat that team up north. So if Jim Harbaugh does come back next year, game on. But I think he definitely, I think both scenarios are definitely possible. But if he definitely goes to the Chargers, I mean, how could you pass up on an opportunity? So,
I think that I could see that working because I think the Chargers organization would be willing to give him some sort of player control, and I think that's what he wants. It's just that of all the teams, all the job openings, I think the Chargers is the worst one. They're like 30-something million over the cap. They got holes to fix, but they got the one thing that you absolutely need, and they got a stud quarterback. Perry says, I think McCarthy's a second or third round talent. Keaton earlier said that he wouldn't draft him in the 88th round. So actually, I'm joking. I'm joking. Keaton, as an Ohio State fan, what kind of a talent is McCarthy? You've probably watched more of him than I have. I don't see it at all, but you tell me.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's been on TV. I've seen him play, obviously, throughout the season. I mean, he's he's a quarterback that doesn't really turn the ball over. Like I said, he makes the right play for his team, making the right. He gets athletic, obviously. He can scramble out of the pocket. He can make plays with his arm. He can fight for extra yards. I mean, he can pretty much do all the dirty work that most coaches would want in the quarterback. So yeah, I mean, that's basically what he is. He's basically a raw. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. Obviously, he doesn't have the talent like Josh Allen, but he's definitely a raw player who can obviously make the plays down the field and do all the dirty stuff. So, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the draft. So I'm hearing maybe he goes first round, maybe he falls in the second round, but there's a lot of scenarios that can happen with him.
I'm gonna say it right now. I think he's gonna free fall. I think he's gonna go like 6th, 7th round. I think he's not going to be as impressive as people think at the combine. Wow. I don't see an NFL arm at all. I really don't. Lawrence Pennington, I don't recognize you, man. That's awesome. A 513 Cincinnati fan. We need more Bengals fans here. Ravens and Niners in the Super Bowl this year. I could see it.
Yeah,
I could see it. I really could. I have an issue with
I could definitely see it too. Yeah, sure.
I subbed and I still have a small wang. Denver Gator. Are you sure? Are you sure? So it's been scientifically proven. If
he's talking about you or me?
He's talking about me because I guarantee you in my video, if you subscribe, you'll have a bigger Johnson, and that's just proof. Denver Gator, you're just measuring wrong. You're just measuring wrong. Going to the Jets, McCarthy to the Jets. Seriously, I that would make sense. Like in the 3rd round, taking McCarthy to the Jets. The Panthers,
they need a quarterback though.
They do.
The Jets definitely need a quarterback.
They do. So here's the deal: the Jets draft, and like I said, I want you to come back on during draft time. The Jets draft 10th. It wouldn't surprise me if they take a quarterback at 10. It really wouldn't surprise me. Perry says the Panthers could be a landing spot for Harbaugh. That's a possibility. The one thing about the owner, he's willing to spend money. He is willing to spend money. I have Ben Johnson going there because except for Harbaugh, he would be the biggest name. But I mean, it would be tough. To be honest, that would be a tougher sticking point than LA, in my opinion, even though I think the Panthers job's better than the Chargers job, apples for apples, but yeah. Oh, Harbaugh to the Jets.
That's for sure.
Oh God, I misread that completely.
Harbaugh
to the Jets.
Harbaugh to the Jets.
Keaton, well, how would you feel if they hired Salah and Harbaugh goes to the Jets?
See, that's funny that you mentioned that because I've been saying throughout the season, like the Jets, like I don't think Robert Saleh is the right coach for that team. I'm just talking about from a schematical standpoint, like from game planning. I just don't think if you look at the division, the AFC East, I think he's clearly, even before Bill left, obviously, he's probably the worst coach in that division in terms of game planning and all that. Because like the way they did, I think they did Zach Wilson kind of throughout the season. That's just my opinion. Because like you bench him for, I don't even know who the Jets backup quarterback is. Obviously, he wasn't better. He wasn't any better than what Zach Wilson was.
No, they got him, I think, like off the scrap heap or something. And
yeah,
I didn't like how they didn't change the offense. Normally, when you bring in a backup quarterback, you can change the offense. They really didn't do that. There's, that's kind of interesting because you're a Patriot.
Yeah, not at all.
And so, I mean, so yeah, that I didn't see that, Perry. So when you said the Jets, I didn't think about it, but to be honest with you, with Rodgers coming back, if Harbaugh went there, I'll be honest, I have a hard time seeing Harbaugh and Rodgers, seeing eye to eye. But I'm kind of with Keaton that this would be an improvement. So,
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be. I mean, but like I said, going back to what you're saying about Rodgers, like it just depends on the health of him too. Like, if he's healthy next year, I mean, obviously the Jets with their defense, I mean, they could be a play. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, nothing's guaranteed. It's going to depend on their health, obviously.
It's going to be a fun 2024. It's going to be a fun draft. So is he more like a 49er quarterback, McCarthy? See, here's the thing. I see a guy that just doesn't have when I watch McCarthy play, I don't see an NFL arm at all. I see a lot of arc on pass. Okay, so here's the deal. When you're evaluating an NFL quarterback, what you want to do is watch a 15-yard out. And what it is that ball will travel 40 to 50 yards in the air. If there's a significant arc, you can't play in the NFL. A guy like Michael Penix, you can say there's a lot of things wrong with him. He can throw that 15-yard out in an 8.
Yeah, he's got that.
Yeah,
he's got that spin in his throws.
Exactly. That same tunnel, that would need to be about 15 yards tall. There's a lot of arc. If you watch McCarthy, and I'm going to pay attention to this in the combine, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I guarantee you, because they're going to throw that ball, and there'll be a big difference between a guy like Penix and a guy like Dre May and Caleb Williams, and then there's going to be a big difference. You're going to see much more of a significant arc in McCarthy. I don't think he's going to be that elite athlete. I think he's going to run like in the 4.6, 4.7 range. Actually, I think what's going to happen is he won't run at the combine. He'll bulk up, come in at the combine like 220, 225, and then he'll slim down and he'll run at Michigan's pro day, and then he'll run like in the 4.6, 4.7 range and try to pretend he's 225 and runs a 4.6. When the reality is he probably played at like 210. But I will pay attention. Yeah, he's not that big of a dude, but it's a trick that some guys do. Is JJ any better than the top 5 quarterbacks from a year ago? No, he's not.
No,
I don't think he is.
No,
I was getting ready to ask you that, Keaton. Like, let me ask you this: Desmond Ridder, JJ McCarthy come out in the draft. Which one are you taking first? By the way, this has nothing to do with an Ohio State bias.
Oh no! You said if I would take J.J. McCarthy or Desmond Ridder?
Desmond Ridder out of if they're in the same draft. Now Desmond Ridder from like 2 years ago.
That's a good question. 2 years ago, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I would take.
I don't know. I guess Ridder, probably Ridder, because he wasn't really turning the ball over all that much back then, but he's kind of a turnover machine now. But that's just because he doesn't have the time to throw in the pocket. I mean, I've seen him scramble for his life throughout the season sometimes. But
yeah. Bill Belichick needs 15 wins to get the head coaching record. Go to Atlanta, do it in less than 2 seasons. But yeah, exactly. And I don't. To be honest, with number 8, if you pick 8th, Penix would be available, and he would be an upgrade. You could also trade up, and you saw what Houston did. Houston did the same thing. They traded a 2024 first round pick, and it was successful. So that's the same blueprint. But yeah, I agree. I had him going to Washington, but when I heard he interviewed with Atlanta, I think it's a no brainer that he goes to Atlanta right now because it's the best job. And Belichick interviewed twice. I just, it makes a lot of sense. Harbaugh to the Bills. If the Bills lose, the Bills owner could clean. How would you feel about this? So one thing, Keys, he's not here today, but he's co-hosted a bunch of times. He thinks that if McDermott loses, that the Bills could let him go and could clean house in the coaching staff. You're an AFC East fan. You're wearing that awesome jersey. I can't tell you how much I love the throwback. It's badass.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. How would you feel? How would you feel about this? Like, is this unrealistic? Is this something realistic here to you that McDermott could be on the hot seat?
I don't see it being realistic, honestly. I mean, like, the thing is like, what the issues the Bills were having earlier in the year with, if I can remember his name, the coordinator that got fired.
Played at Miami.
Gosh, I forget his name. Yeah,
I keep on wanting to call him Bernie Quosar.
Oh, Ken Dorsey. Yeah. So like when he got so obviously when he left, obviously the Bills' offense got better as the season went on. Now, obviously they were 6-6 at one point, and then they finished the regular season with 5 straight wins. Yeah, but I don't really see him going to Buffalo, honestly. I'm just talking about just the landing spot. I don't really see him going there. I think McDermott probably stays another year or two, depending on how the rest of the postseason goes. But I think if he gets to the AFC Championship game, in my opinion, I think he probably ends up staying.
I don't think he's I've been hearing more and more of this, but I think McDermott's safe for right now anyway. Funk says Purdy has a good arm. I watched a lot of him at Iowa State, and I said the same thing about Purdy that I said about McCarthy just now. I didn't think he was an NFL quarterback, and I was wrong. Perry asked, can Penix read an NFL defense? I think you put him on a team like Atlanta and just dumb it down. Like you really dumb the offense down and make it simple. But when I watched him play just against Oregon and then against Texas and then against Michigan, he seemed to be able to go through progressions. Here's the deal. You don't know. You really don't know until you get them into a system. You really have no clue. But I'm going to say yes. But for Atlanta, if you put him and Belichick with the Falcons, you're a run-heavy team. You play good defense, and you simplify the offense as much as you can. But you lean on a running game. That's why I think Atlanta makes a lot of sense. You got 2 really good running backs. So
you have a good offensive line too. Not bad.
Yeah, the offensive line in Atlanta is not bad at all. Hopefully, he runs like a newborn giraffe on his 40.
40.
No, here's the deal. I guarantee it's going to happen. He's either going to run. I guarantee he's going to bulk up and try to, like, the magic number is 220. Like, he's going to be over 220 for the draft. And then he'll slim down and he'll run at Michigan's pro day. You watch. By the way, Denver Gator, I want to hear stuff about Senior Bowl. So Keaton, Denver Gators right there near Mobile. I'm sorry. So Denver Gator, let me know. By the way, let me know about Bo Nix because he reminds me a lot of your boy.
Bo Nix.
Will Levis. Denver Gator's a huge Will Levis fan.
Yeah.
Would Baker fit?
He's not bad.
I think he would, Perry. I think he would. I think Baker would fit perfect with Belichick.
I see it.
Yeah, I think he would too. The Shanahan offense is carrying Purdy up there also. I think that's part of it. I really do. I think it's part of it. But I think having a good coaching staff. But yeah. I mean. Look at what you got. Remember, he didn't. By the way, it looked different without Christian McCaffrey. So you got Brandon A. They're going to lose Brandon Ayuk in free agency, all right. And then you got Kittle. You have the best left tackle. By the way, Trent Williams is the best player on that 49ers team. Like he's that good. When he was injured for those 3 games, those 3 losses, people are like, "What's wrong, San Francisco?" Well, the best fucking player's out. That's what's problem. Keaton, let me ask you this here, man. Could you just throw any quarterback in that 49ers offense, or is Purdy kind of special?
Can you throw any quarterback in? I mean, I think it's just Purdy being that good. I mean, I think he's just that type of player that, like I said, that fits in. And I'm all about, as a fan, I'm all about like fit and scheme. Like if your quarterback doesn't. If their style doesn't fit in with your team, it's just, I mean, that makes a difference on your team. I think just Purdy just fits in with the scheme what the 49ers have, and also not just that, but the pieces that he has around him, like the receiver position and all that stuff to make him successful. I mean, kind of look at, Tua, for example. Tua wouldn't be good down in Miami without Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and all those guys. Like
I've said this so many times, the quarterback position is really determined by the surrounding pieces that you have.
Yeah.
And I think it is partly, but I think Purdy's a solid quarterback. I saw something where it said you have 7 good quarterbacks in Brock Purdy, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I would put Purdy above a couple of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, but I wouldn't call him elite. But he's really good. Good. Fan bases never learn. Teams continue to be in the top tier in the playoffs and want to clean house. Better appreciate your coaching staff. Grass isn't always greener. The Chargers and Marty Schottenheimer. Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering what Denver Gators talking about, the Chargers went 14-2 with Marty Schottenheimer. Marty lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. The Patriots that year won the Super Bowl, and they fired Marty Schottenheimer after going 14-2. Now, they did win a playoff game next year. At, I think it was 8-8. It's a long story, but basically the Chargers. That's the short version.
Yeah. 14-2. That's.
Yeah. 14-2, and you lose to the team that wins the Super Bowl. And by the way, I'll go back even more. The Chargers safety intercepts the pass late in the fourth quarter, and all he had to do is fall down. But he runs the ball back. Troy Brown runs behind him, punches the ball out. The Patriots recover. Automatic first down. Patriots go score a touchdown, win the game. Atlanta ain't drafting the quarterback because when Ben Johnson gets hired by Atlanta, he's going to trade for either Goff or Hooker. I've been saying it for months, even when people told me Smith wasn't getting fired. You have been. So Funk has been saying that the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, Ben Johnson, is going to Atlanta. One Pride who was in here earlier, he says Aaron Glenn is going to be the new head coach in Atlanta. What's your take on this?
Wait, sorry. Who's going to be in Atlanta?
Well, Funk says Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. Another Lion has said that Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, is going to be there. Let me ask you this here. Who do you see in Atlanta? Does it make sense to have either one of the Lions coordinators going in Atlanta?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's not lying. I mean, Ben Johnson obviously is one of those guys that he can definitely fit in there and put his take on the game. I mean, he can definitely make that team better. I mean, look what he's doing in Detroit and then with their offense. You know, he could definitely go down there and turn that offense around. Obviously, it depends on who's your quarterback. Well, I mean, I know Desmond Ridder is currently the quarterback there, but if he goes down there, I think he could definitely see the Falcons jumping up in the offense and getting better. So we'll see. But I definitely think the fit down there definitely makes sense for him if he were to leave Detroit.
And Funk's right. They both have interviews. With Belichick interviewing twice, I kind of see him being the front runner if he wants to take that job or not. With 2 interviews, I'm kind of thinking that the ball's kind of in Belichick's court, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't see you can pass up on that, but.
No. Would you take Love this is a great question by Perry. Would you take Love or Purdy as quarterback for your team? I'm pretty sure since Keaton's picking the upset of the Packers in the video, which, by the way, I wanted to do it. This is, by the way, like I took a screenshot of this from his video. This is the very beginning of his video. So do check out Keaton Talk Sports if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Great question by Perry. Who would you take, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy as quarterback for? You know what? Your team needs a quarterback. You get to pick, all things being the same, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy as the next quarterback of the New England Patriots.
Me, I would take Jordan Love. Just because, like I said, I think he would fit here better in terms of, I think he has more upside. I know, if you look at Brock Purdy, like I said, he basically has to have the pieces around him to be successful. I know you can say the same thing on Jordan Love, but I'm just talking about, I think he fits in here better. I don't have a much more of an analysis on the 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Purdy can fit here too, but I think Jordan Love would probably fit here better in terms of just, like I said, just the scheme and offense. But
I mean, it's
both quarterbacks are pretty good, but
it's just your flavor. That's one of the great things I love about doing this show. You never know the questions that you're going to get. And that was a good one.
Yeah,
that
was good. That was a good question. Yeah,
yeah. And by the way, Jordan loves playing with a bunch of rookies, and Brock Purdy has one of the best receivers, the best running back, maybe the best tight end, the best left tackle.
Tackle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Love doesn't have any of those things.
No.
Perry comes up another great question. Do you think the Finns let Tua walk or draft pick tag to see if a team will bite for a first-round pick or match team's offer? So what Perry's asking is, and he's been saying this, do you think the Dolphins let Tua walk, or do you put a first-round tag on him and try to get another first-round pick? What's your opinion? You're an AFC East guy. Because I have a guess, Pete from Pete's Takes, he's a Dolphins fan. He's one of the few Dolphins fans all year. It's been like, dude, you don't want to – this is not the answer, Tua. What's your opinion? You're a Patriots fan. What do you think?
I mean, I've been saying all season, like, I don't think he's the guy. I just don't think he's the guy. I mean, like, if you look at him, like I said, he has to have everything around him to be successful. Like, if Tyreek Hill wasn't there, if Jalen Waddle wasn't there, this Dolphins team is probably not a playoff team. And, like, I'm just saying, like, I've heard stuff about him getting paid $40-50 million, but, like, what does he? I mean, I don't think he deserves all that money. I don't think he's that type of quarterback that can, take you over the top, take you to that next level in terms of, like, getting out of the AFC. Now, there was a lot of Dolphins fans saying earlier in the year that, oh, we're going to get through the AFC. We have the talent. But like I said this, it's going to come down to Tua when he's able to do in the playoffs, and he just hasn't done it. But like I said, I don't think he's I just don't think he's the guy. I think he's holding their team back in terms of what they want to do, in terms of, like, trying to get out of the AFC and win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it'll be interesting, but I don't see a scenario where he ends up leaving. I think he's going to end up staying with the Dolphins because I don't think a team's going to really want his services. But we'll
Cliff is right there in Florida, so he says Finns are keeping to. I agree, Cliff.
Yeah.
I don't think they should, though. By the way, I said this when I did the live stream. I'm not mad at Tua, a guy raised in Hawaii who plays college ball at Alabama, drafted by a team in South Florida. He can't produce in negative 30-degree temperatures. I'm not mad at him for that. I'm not mad at him. I said this during the live. He was visibly rattled. And one thing, I'm going to say something about Tua. This is nothing to a fool. This is just being a man. After the game was over, he stayed and he shook hands with, like, every single Chiefs player on the field. And by the way, if you haven't been outside negative 30-degree temperature, like, it burns. Like, it sucks. Oh, yeah. And he just got his ass kicked. And he stood out there. He shook everybody's. He was there. I think he might have been. Tua might have been the last player off the field. Like, if I had a daughter, I would want her to date Tua. Like, settle down with Tua. Tua babies, But
yeah,
I don't think he's the answer. I'm kind of surprised Keaton said it. Pete, who has a Dolphins YouTube channel, he said the same thing. But I do think he's staying, but I don't think he's the answer. I think Miami should look for someone else, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Perry says, I think he is too. I think the question is, yeah. Johnson, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, you get your quarterback, especially if it's Jared Goff. And by the way, Atlanta would be more than happy to send draft picks to Detroit. If you take Goff away from Detroit, it will be really interesting to see what they do. Because, like, Denver Gator, how high I was on Hendon Hooker, but he's never played. And do you really want to put a question mark? But, And Funk says it makes, it does. This is a good one. Belichick's to go into Seattle. Keaton, what is your thoughts on this?
Wait, Bill Belichick to Seattle. Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, I have not heard this at all. What do you think?
I can see. That's a good spot for him too. Like I said, if Bill Belichick leaves, obviously he's already gone from New England, but I can see him being somewhere in the NFC. I don't see Bill Belichick being in the AFC conference. I think it's going to be whether if it's with the Falcons or someone else. Like, I mean, I didn't even think about the Seahawks because I forgot that they don't have a head coach at the moment. But I mean, Bill Belichick to Seattle, that would be that'd be a good spot for him. I mean, in the NFC West, I mean, you have to worry about the 49ers, but I mean, you're easily the second best team, if not fighting with the 49ers in that division, if you were to go there.
I mean, you got talent there, and the one thing that Belichick's not had for the last, you have to tell me. I'm going to say 10 years, but I might be wrong on that. Seattle has the best trio of receivers in football, and that's the one thing Belichick hasn't had is solid receivers. You got a great group of receivers. You got DK Metcalf, the size speed freak. You got Tyler Lockett, the best route runner, maybe the best hands, and then you got Jackson Smith and Njigba, the last year first round pick.
Njigba,
yeah, and he's going to be a star. He's going to be really, really, really good. But Perry, I've been saying the same exact thing here. Is I think Dan Quinn returns with Seattle, and remember Dan Quinn was was the defensive coordinator with the Seahawks during the Legion of Boom days. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. This is interesting. I don't see it happening, and Keaton agrees with me.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see him going to Atlanta. More of a probability.
I think right now, if you've interviewed twice with Atlanta. It's just really a question of does Belichick want to take that job or not, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Cliff says probably a mistake, but they'll keep Tua, and I think so too. I think they'll do it. I think they'll keep him, and I think it will hold them back because you give Tua that big contract that he's going to want. You're going to lose Waddle. You're going to lose Christian Wilkins.
And then you're not got enough room too to try to build around the roster too.
You still you're gonna lose free agents this year, and if you, I mean, I would move on. It was negative 30, and Tua stayed after the game and shook hands with everybody. I thought that was the classiest thing because, like, I would not have blamed him for saying, you know what, it's negative 30. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. It's lost. No, he shook hands with everybody.
Did you hear? I don't know if you heard that 15 people, including Patrick Mahomes, got frostbite. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that. But like there was clips about Andy Reid because like his mustache was frozen over, and
I saw that.
I mean, dude, I'm gonna tell you something. It was on the field. It was negative 30. Like I'm doing the show. My computer says it's 4. And like right next to me is this right here. You can't see it. It'd be let me see here. My right, your left. But there's anyway my door, and like I can kind of feel like a little breeze coming in, you know, and it's like it's like it's. I was outside earlier today, and like when you're outside, it just stings. It's cold. It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how they tackle that. That's crazy.
Dude,
I don't know how they tackle that.
It's a bitch, man. It really is. It's just a complete bitch. That's why they make all that money. But Tua, I kept on saying this during the live stream. Tua is very clearly affected by the cold. He cannot perform, but I'm not mad at him. I mean, you can't get mad at a guy in negative 30. It's just crazy. But
too, the Dolphins were in control of the AFC East throughout the season until we get. I mean, they had the opportunity to get the 2 seed. I mean, that was on them.
All you had to do is beat Buffalo. They had that game right. You know, seriously, I was watching that game. They don't let a 95-yard punt return go back for a touchdown. They probably beat the Bills.
They do.
That was the play. Jay Cruz at 71 says just need a quarterback on Seattle and some other tweakers on the team. Yeah, I've never been a Geno Smith fan. I don't see Bill Belichick going to Seattle because I don't want to rant too long on here, but John Schneider took control away from the team. It used to be Pete Carroll had personnel decisions, and he had that taken away from him. He was able to hire his coaching staff. That's taken away from him. John Schneider, who's the general manager, reports directly to the owner, where it used to be Pete Carroll reports directly to the owner. And it's, for those of you who don't know, Paul Allen, the owner of Microsoft, bought the team long time ago. He passed away a few years ago, so it got passed on to his daughter. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she probably doesn't give a fuck. And she probably doesn't want Pete Carroll coming in here talking about defensive backs and shit like that. She's probably going, you know what? Because I can't relate, but like Paul Allen was worth like $100 billion. He was like one of the dozen richest men in the world. So I'm assuming his daughter probably like bathed in champagne or, like got a new car every week or something. I mean, I don't think she really cares about football. So, my opinion is Belichick won't be there, but yeah, whoever takes over, Geno Smith, I've never been sold on him. It'll be interesting to see what Seattle does. But yeah. Can you imagine young quarterback from the draft with the Finns head coach and Hill and the other? That's what I would do if I was Miami. Right now, they picked 21st. I'll bring up the draft here. Right now, Miami picks 21st in the draft. Remember, last year they didn't have a first-round pick because of the tampering. This year they do. They don't have a fourth-round pick, but Miami famously has not had a problem giving away draft picks, so I could see them trading up in the draft to try to get a quarterback. A guy like Penix may fall in the draft. Bo Nix is a guy who may be available at 21, and Bo Nix, I think, would work really well in that offense. I personally think it would work. But that's just me. Harry has some really great questions for you, man. What do you think of Johnny Wilson, the Florida State wide receiver? Supposedly he's 6'7", 240, going to run a 4.5. Yeah.
I've watched a little bit of him throughout the season. I don't know, like, obviously a lot. I haven't really watched a lot of Florida State, but I've heard that he's a beast. Especially at his position. He's athletic. He can pretty much do anything. Catch the ball. He can make plays on the field. I mean, I would like him in New England, but it's just going to be a matter of whether if he's going to fall in our pick, which is probably unlikely. But I don't know if I'm not sure where he is in the draft board. I have to look that up and do more research on that.
We're gonna do some more talk. But by the way, Perry, if you missed it, he said Ohio State would beat Florida State by 70 points, just like Georgia did. Just so you know. Perry asked,
now the quarterback we had Kyle McCord. With him our quarterback.
Oh,
he's from Syracuse, by the way, too.
That's another thing I want to find out about. But he said, what are some prospects in the draft? You know what? I'm dying to know. Do you know Trayvon Henderson? He's coming back to Ohio State, isn't he? Your star running back.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
I was convinced he would leave for the draft, and
that's what I thought too. But I was kind of surprised that. But I mean, I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining because he's a hell of a player. But
I have a big crush on him. I wouldn't surprise me if he goes first round next year. I was picturing a guy like that in Kansas City, with that breakaway speed and his receiving ability, and I think that would just be that's kind of what I was kind of hoping Kansas City would do in the draft because CEH is going to be gone. But Perry asked a great question here. What are some prospects in the draft that you like? What are some of your draft crushes?
I mean, you already know Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of my obviously ones on top. I would love to have him in New England too. But it's gonna be he's probably gonna be gone at the number 1 pick. I can see it. Just because, like I said,
going number 1.
I think there's a chance. I think he will. I mean, because like the thing is, it's like here are the scenarios. Like you look at the Chicago Bears. They're either gonna trade Justin Fields away and get Caleb Williams, or they're going to keep Fields, build around him, and get a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. And you look at the Bears receiving core; they have guys like Mooney. Was it Claypool? Was Claypool still there? Right? No, he's with the Dolphins.
No, he's in Miami.
So I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about Claypool. The guy from Carolina, I just draw the guy from, but it's funny because I would love. Here's what I think is going to happen, depending on who Washington gets as head coach. I think they want Caleb Williams. He's a DC kid, right? I see Washington, Chicago flipping picks, and Chicago at number 2, and then Chicago at 2 taking Marvin Harrison. But I've seen some people say, hey, why risk it? Just take Harrison at 1. And that also makes a lot of sense.
Right. Dang, that's cool. So I'm curious to see, because like if they do that, they take Williams, or not Williams, but let's say Marvin Harrison goes there, Williams goes to Washington. Who do you see New England taking? And where do you see Drake May going to?
That's okay. So if Belichick was in New England, I'm convinced they would have taken Joe Alt, the left tackle out of Notre Dame. And I think, and that to me, that made a lot of sense. Now that you got Mayo there, I think it's wide open because I think that you need a lot of different things. I think trading down makes sense. I haven't watched Drake May play. I want to know how good he really is. I'll say this: if there's a team willing to give you enough, I would think maybe you trade down, maybe take a look at Penix. Jaden Daniels would be a lot of fun with the right offensive coordinator there in New England.
I would love him there.
And then
I think he'll fit in with Rob Mayo too.
And here's the thing: you pick again at 34. There's a chance that one of these stud receivers falls in the draft. So I started looking at some mock draft tools, and I was playing around, and it messed up on my phone. They had the Chiefs at 28, and so I did a mock draft, and I chose for my own. The player that I would have picked, and I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name, is the other Ohio State wide receiver, Edize. Help me out here. Not Harrison. Who's the other wide receiver at Ohio State who's coming out in the draft?
See, Marvin Harrison Jr.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
So that's a guy. A guy like that could be perfect for New England in round 2. So like you could do that. Cliff, I have action. DraftKings sent me a promo bet. I bet that on alternate yardage on Travis Kelce, 47.5. I do like the Chiefs, not just to cover, but I like the Chiefs on the money line. There's too many injuries in the secondary core and the linebacking core. So I like Travis Kelce over on receiving. So Bears receiving core, number 1 wide receiver is Justin Fields. No, I'm not. Bears receiving core is number 1 wide receiver is just. I don't understand what you're asking. I don't get what you're asking. I honestly, that's a Keaton, who is the Patriots general manager. I thought that they were actually making some tweaks in the front office still, or do they have somebody?
No, they're still making tweaks. They haven't announced anything yet with that. They're still, Rob Mayo is still currently looking. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to do it. I've heard stuff about it may take to the draft. But I think it'll be done. I think it'll be done before that, honestly. But I don't know who's going to be.
It'll probably be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's done before the Super Bowl. To be honest with you,
honestly, that's what I was just thinking about. Yeah, it'll probably be done by then.
Jake, I don't understand what you're asking. Can you rephrase this? I don't get what you're asking.
Hold on.
Oh,
okay, Justin Fields.
Okay, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields could be number 1 running back. I mean, shoot. He could. I mean, the way he can run. I mean, at the quarterback position, he could definitely. I could see it. If it depends on what team he's in, but
40 years ago, they would have switched in positions. But I personally, that's going to be a great story. I think they're going to stick with him at quarterback, and I like I said.
Yeah,
it depends on who the coach is in Washington, but I think Washington, Chicago will end up flipping picks, and I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be the guy. And there's some good quarterbacks coming out next year. This is going to be a great year for draft. But listen, we've been on for about 2 hours. We had technical issues. I think my internet router froze because it's literally right here next to. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the draft. So I did a. mock draft, and at 28, that's the player who I did. I was using different free mock draft tools, and I'm going to do a video coming to the draft about some of the different draft tools. I used to use the Draft Network. They changed it. You got to pay for it. I don't want to use a tool I want to pay for. For those of you that know, I hate PFF with a passion. I know they got a free draft tool. I'm not going to use it. I've seen some dumb, beyond stupid things come out of PFF, but don't get me going on that. I've kept Keaton here with technical issues for over 2 hours, so I'm going to get him out of here. He's got a wild party to go to. He's got like 3 different girls he's hooking up with tonight. Or is it 4? Is it 4? But so, hey, Keaton, before I let you go here, man, final thoughts, words. Do subscribe to his channel. He by the way, this is a copy of his video. He did a great job going 3-3 last week. I went 4-2. So who's better? 4-3. Nobody is saying this. Nobody's saying that I'm better than Keaton. Nobody is saying this at all. But I got 4 versus 3 here. But final thoughts, questions, concerns, anything you have before I get you out of here. And if you don't mind, answer this question from Perry. This is a good one.
What do you think of Tom? What do you think of Ryan Thomas from LSU? I mean, I think he's a great player. I mean, obviously, I've seen a little bit of him throughout the season, not much, but he's very athletic. Like I said, pretty much all around player. He can pretty much do anything on that side. So, yeah, I think he's a pretty solid player. Now I don't know where he's going to go in the draft, what team, but I think he'll be a solid player in the NFL.
I'm a big fan of it as well.
Yeah. My final thoughts, I mean, like I said, I'm excited for this weekend, obviously, with all the games. I'm more excited for the Chiefs and Bills. Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game in his career, which that's, like I said, I still can't really believe that's his first ever road playoff game. It's
a really good thing for Chiefs fans. It's something I've been really excited about, and I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Definitely. I will be live for Chiefs Bills. I don't have the live stream set up yet, but it will be. Mm-hmm. It'll be better than this live stream. So again, Keaton, I apologize for technical issues. I think the router is next to my door. The router froze. I really do. It's a good one.
It got better towards the end.
Yeah, the last hour was great.
Yeah. So I'm excited for these games.
Hey, listen, I want to thank you for coming on. Please come back when we get
definitely
going through draft season because I'm going to do a ton of right after the combine. I'm going to do weekly mock drafts. I think I do 8 or 9, and then I'm debating if I'm going to be live Tuesday and Friday. That's on the fence. I'm going to stay live Tuesday throughout the playoffs, and then after the Super Bowl, we'll see what happens. I may just go back to just Friday. We'll find out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cliff, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good one.
I'm trying to see what the weather's going. You know what the weather's going to be like? Because I know it's 6:30 at Sunday.
It's not going to be bad. It's going to be in the 20s. There is some wind, but it's not bad. It's to be honest with you, for January football, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be a little windy. It's going to be funny. Better than it was in Kansas City and better than it was in Buffalo last week. It's actually going to be perfect football weather. But yeah, Cliff, it is going to be tough for Mahomes, but I think the Chiefs win. I got a prop bet over. It's an alternate bet line, just over 47.5. I think the over-under was like 60 something. I think Kelsey gets over that. That's my prop bet, is over on the Kelsey yards, but I took an alternate. And that's all I got, man. Join me for the live stream. I'll have that set up either later tonight or tomorrow. Join me live when I do play-by-play reaction for Chiefs Bills. Check out Keaton Talk Sports if you haven't already. This is not his this is the beginning of his video, which is really great. He had a great video where he did the picks, but he got the Chiefs Bills run wrong. He picked Buffalo. But I
wouldn't be surprised who wins, but it's going to be a great game.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't be mad if you went 3-1. I would not be mad if you went 3-1.
3-1, yeah. Definitely.
All All right, so guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Join me for Chiefs Bills, and I'll see you back hopefully Sunday night.